Welcome to Shakedown Off-Road. Hey everyone, welcome to Shakedown Off-Road. I'm going to walk you through Snail Tracks, which is my personal rig. It's a 4-seater Rockwell 2.5 ton 47-inch Super Swamper trail rig. It's not fast, but it crawls over big rocks. Let's get to it. Okay, so what most people notice right up front is these axles don't look like normal axles. These were popular in the early 2000s, maybe 2009-ish. They started losing popularity because you were able to make 1 tons a lot stronger. But this is a Rockwell 2.5 ton axle. It's out of like an M35 truck used in military applications for decades. They're pretty cheap to get from a government surplus now. It is upgraded. So it has Ouverson Engineering Pinion Brake kit. It comes with a nice aluminum cover here, but what's more important is the Wilwood calipers and the nice drilled and slotted rotor, plenty of stopping power, and got one of these on the front and one on the rear. 2 total. That's all you need for this thing, because this is actually a gear reduced brake system, so it'll actually slow down the vehicle pretty well just using these. Next, it's got a hydraulic steering system. I got this from Montpass Off-Road. I believe they source it from somebody else. Inside of this axle is where it gets pretty cool. So Ouverson Engineering actually makes a Violator axle kit, which I'll throw up on the screen. But it increases the axle diameter, which is already fairly large at 1.62 inches, to a full 2-inch axle shaft made out of 4340. And I believe it's 47 spline, so it's pretty serious stuff. I don't think I'll ever break it, but that was the point of buying it, installing it, because I didn't want to ever break this thing. So another thing people notice right away is these monster tires. These are actually 47 by 17 on 17-inch rims. These are Trailworthy Fab double beadlocks, welded on the rock rings myself. Also notice the Violator axle drive slugs that come with the Violator axle kit. So it replaces the older 19 spline drive slugs for these 47 spline versions. Rear Rockwell axles are typically flanged, but the Violator rear axles are actually floating. So you can actually take the front drive slugs off the front and put them on the rear to use with the Violator kit. So you get nice chromoly axles and nice slug. All right, here's the rear suspension bump situation. So I made some platforms to come up to meet the air bumps. I now believe these air bumps are a little bit long, so I might put some spacers inside to decrease the stroke, or shorter air bumps, maybe some 2-inch travel rather than 4-inch. I bought these a long time ago, before I knew what I needed. I got 16-inch travel, Fox racing shocks, remote reservoirs. I think that's about 8 inches of shaft showing, just at right height. Got these moto built Rockwell towers. The bottom link mounts are just custom. Rear shackle point. I haven't needed this yet, but in case I need to get pulled off of something. A little more direct grab the axle versus grabbing the shackle up here, which might just compress the suspension. The top links are pretty parallel. I'll give you the numbers for the anti-squat and anti-dive, but this thing's set up to climb. So another upgrade I want to do is install a rear suck-down winch to that rear shackle. Sometimes for the trail, but mainly just so I can get it to roll into my garage without having to strap it down. So make life a lot easier. One of my favorite features is this Lexan wheel well, so I can actually see the suspension and the tires when I'm going down the trail. Passengers love it too. Have a little pocket there for my Wilwood brake master cylinder, and it's got a little fitting there if you can see. So that's just for a brake light switch. So I actually do have a brake light on here. and just a running light as well. So when the ignition's on, it's got a little light on the back, so pretty helpful at night. Body panels are just HDPE. Got it from Speedway Motors, and just got it at the right height, trimmed it up. Very easy to put on. Got these washers and countersunk nuts from AA Manufacturing. A little oily right now, but here's my motor mount setup. So I actually built a skid plate into the chassis, runs up in front of the radiator, so it provides a mounting spot for the radiator and also protects the oil pan from any rocks. It did cause me to run a remote oil filter, so I got the 2 hoses there running up into the engine compartment to mount my oil filter right up here, which is also next to the reservoir for the hydraulic steering, which is right in there. All easy. So the motor mount on this side is a little trickier because I wanted to have the vehicle as low as possible. And with these Rockwells, it makes it pretty tough because you have that top loader axle that moves that drive shaft up pretty close to the engine. So I actually had to make a motor mount that jogged over a bit to provide clearance for this large 1480 drive shaft to pass by. But it worked out. I have 0 clearance issues at this point. All right, a quick look at the interior setup here. So kept it super simple. Just have a switch panel here that handles most of the needs for this thing. Makes it real simple actually. So this actually goes to a switch box, which is located right down here. So all of the higher power lines just run right into that box, and this switch just has an easy little connection over to the box to tell everything to turn on, turn off. Got a thermostat for the transmission right there, gauge. Thermostat's actually in the pan. Gauges are here, to be clear. A few gauges right here. Oil pressure is pretty important on the Vortec engines or LS engines. Make sure they're pumping enough oil. Coolant temp and voltage. Currently that voltage isn't even hooked up because I have a power outlet right here that actually tell me what the voltage is any time of day. So as you can see, the battery's full. And another little power plug right there. Battery master switch and a Sidewinder shifter for the reverse pattern Turbo 400. And a quick little demonstration. Start it up. I just turn the fuel pump on, ignition on, put on the brake, push button start. Power off, pump off. That's it. So, as you can tell, no way to steer this thing right now. I'll put on our quick disconnect steering, and easy as that. So I actually did put a tilt steering wheel capability in here because my younger son drives it. He's only 11 now, so I usually have to tilt it down so he can run it, and you can see the tires and suspension through the floorboard there on both sides. A little jog out there for the headers. Obviously a fire extinguisher in case of emergencies. Looking up, rear view mirror. See some speakers in the background. Got a magnetic winch controller. It's pretty handy. And just these bags. I keep the thermal scanner right there, and a little rugged radio. GMRS unit. Got actually 2 of those. One for me and whoever I need to talk to. If somebody has to run down the trail. Some Corbeau Baja SS seats. These things are pretty damn comfortable. And got a rear one for the passenger as well. Either kids or dogs back there with some tools. And getting back to the shifter situation. So, as I mentioned, reverse manual transmission, and then this thing has a off-road design Magnum Underdrive. And so that's what this extra shifter is about. And I also have the modified pins for the NP205 transfer case, so I can actually shift front and rear independently. So, and a little bit about the braking and steering here. So this is where I mount my Willwood pedal. This little tab right there, and the accelerated pedal just out of a Chevy truck, mounted on panel back there. Kind of standard stuff. And then I have my hydraulic steering valve on the engine bay side, and I just have a short little shaft, tilt shaft going to there. I like to keep the hydraulic hoses away from my legs in case something happens. The space behind the shifter here actually is where I have my ECU, right below this panel. And then I actually have my battery right behind this panel, kind of mounted away from this plate here. So all of the electrical, or the bulk of the electrical, is actually just tucked in between here and this area here. Just a little quick addition on the switches here. So I have a few unused, that's why they're not covered. But got a fuel pump, that's how I turn on my electric fuel pump. Transmission fan on the top right. I have lights on the rear of this thing. If I ever need to go in reverse or just light up what's behind me. Got some underglow lights, got a roof light, a front bumper light, or kind of, I guess not really a bumper, but popping out of the front of the hood there. Cooling fan, that's my main radiator fan. Got some interior lights in here and my radio, as I just have a Bluetooth setup. So once I power those on, that'll connect directly to my phone and get some tunes. So I never had a gas gauge on any of my buggies, but for this one I thought I would actually add one. So every time the ignition's on, that'll actually show how much fuel's in the tank. I run a little remote fill up onto the cage, down into my 17-gallon tank here. Run all the hoses, get kind of down and around and underneath the buggy, so they're out of the way, but still up high, out of harm's way. And it's got a nice shelf back here. This is where I keep the cooler strapped down. And of course we need some tunes, so I have two outdoor rated, marine rated speakers that provide plenty of volume for off-road. All right, so another neat feature on this is the tailgate I built. So folds down, move the chains, and then we have this area in here for storage. So I keep all my fluids and my tools and everything here so they're not sliding around. While wheeling, keep my trash bag clipped on right here. Right now I just have these wires running loose right here until I make another tube around here to make more of a cargo basket area. But right now it works pretty good. So it just comes up like this. Pop these clips back in. And the tailgate is closed. I just use some weld-on metal hinges down here. Works pretty good. Holds a lot of weight as well, so you can do work on this. All right, doing a little walk around, showing you the underglow. A little nighttime wheeling. Pretty simple to install. Here's a quick little shot of the interior lights. Pretty simple, just enough light to see what happened to your beer over the last obstacle. Everyone, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe.